REUTERSBritain is ready to launch a Brexit charm offensive in a bid to speak directly to EU member. statesHe will also visit Norway. Although not an EU member, Oslo maintains close ties to the bloc, which could provide a blueprint for a future British deal. The Chancellor of the Exchequer hopes to break the Brexit deadlock and appeal directly to EU member states amid fears France is blocking talks. France has unveiled plans to lure city workers away from Britain after Brexit in a desperate attempt to make Paris, Europe's financial centre, London, finances around 40 to 50% of the continent's financial services, and Mr. Macron is hoping to take some of the spoils for France. The French president plans to lure global banks from the city of London to Paris after Brexit, and his Minister of Finance and Economy Bruno Le Maire said France's sights are on JP Morgan, Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, which all have offices in London. Macron threat France unveils Brexit bank snatch to make Paris Europe's financial centre on a veiled swipe at French officials who have repeatedly said Paris' main objective in Brexit negotiations was to maintain the unity of the 27 remaining countries, and that the only point of contact for British diplomats should be the Commission's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier. David Davis will also visit allies. Britain is hitting back, and in a two-prong offensive, Brexit Secretary Mr. Davis will visit allies across Europe in a fortnight of diplomacy designed alongside Mr. Hammond, a government source told The Telegraph. We want member states to have more of a say. It's to the benefit that the trading relationship with the EU exists. The people in the Commission have more of a religious view of Europe. Monday, February 5, 2018. Michel Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. France sees it as an opportunity to take business from us, but it's not going to work. Government source. The preservation of the project is the most important thing for them, even if it damages the European Union. France is the most negative of the member states. They are taking a very hard line. They see it as an opportunity to take business from us, but it's not going to work. Mr. Davis and Mr. Hammond's visits come as the French government's spokesman said Europeans should take a firm line in negotiations over Britain's exit from the EU, but not seek to punish or humiliate London. A European Commission document envisaging powers to restrict British access to the single market during the transition period after Brexit if it violates agreed rules sparked fury last week. French government spokesman Benjamin Griveaux said it's never good news. You should never humiliate, you should never punish. That's the worst thing that could happen, and I think it would strengthen anti-European sentiment in many countries where we have elections in a year's time, despite his efforts to backpedal on the bombshell European Commission document. Mr. Griveaux, who is part of Mr. Macron's inner circle, repeated the common EU line that Britain should not seek to cherry-pick parts of the single markets it likes, like free trade, and dismiss others such as freedom of movement. He said, you need to be firm. Cherry-picking over things such as, well, take this freedom or another, that's not possible. And I'd like to remind you that if only one country opposes the final Brexit deal, there will be a rather hard Brexit.